Let's ask Dan.
And we are live. And this is the Self-Publishing Roundtable's News Roundup with Erica. Say hi, Erica.
Hey, Erica.
Look happy, Erica. Happier. Happier.
There you go.
And with Krishan Killer Hannah.
Hello, all. Hi, Chaz.
And with John L. Monk, my brother from another mother dragon.
Hey, how's it going?
We are covering the week's news events, and what are they? That's the extent of my improv. Let's go, Erica!
Well, a bit more than the week's. The last month. We've just selected a few items, so we have no idea how long we're going to go, but we will see. First up, Amazon reviews. So Amazon has rolled out new rules regarding product reviews across the entirety of its stores. From now on, sellers aren't to send out their products to people to review in any rate. Reviews and ratings. They will have to approach Amazon to access their Vine reviewers, which will no doubt come at a price. But Amazon have made a point of stating that the changes will apply to product categories other than books, and we will continue to allow the age-old practice of providing advanced review copies of books. Mm-hmm. Right. Who has an opinion on this? Hands up. Okay, Krishan, off you go.
All right, then. A little bit of background on this. My youngest daughter, my 20-year-old, she has this little app. And she can scroll through the app, and she can find all sorts of items that are for pennies on the dollar. Let's say she wanted a high-end vacuum cleaner, and it's $200. She can go to the site, buy it for $50. And then in return for that, she has to make a review. And there's people who not only make a lot of money, but get a lot of higher end things very, very cost effectively through this app. All they have to do is write a review. And as you can imagine, some folks will sit up there and do anything if they get 75% off a product. So it may not be the most honest review, and I can understand it and I can see that. This rule is what this is designed to do. I'm sorry, this is not designed to do, but designed to fight. Is trying to get honest reviews because someone's actually used the product. So I don't mind it at all. What I do mind, and the thing that bothers me, is that a lot of authors didn't bother to read the whole thing. They did the TLDR and just lost their minds. Oh my God, we're not going to be able to promote our book and everything. And had you just taken another 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, and read to the bottom, you would have seen that this was about products, not books. That's the end of that for me.
Books are not products. You heard it here, folks.
I just want to admit, right. I was one of the people that didn't read the article, but I didn't freak out, because what I do is when I don't read an article is I look at what other comments that people are making on Facebook, and I figure out what was at the end of the article. See, I save time. I get right to it, and I saw, it doesn't affect us. Yeah.
It's comment reading can be hazardous to your health.
But you know what I think it is? I think what it is that the stuff, like if you have like a car that you're selling on Amazon, or a gigantic computer or something expensive or something, I mean, that's a lot different than a $2.99 book too, or even like a $14.99 book. I mean, most of the books, kind of fall in that range in there. So there's a lot less money at stake per unit, and so maybe that has something to do with it too. And also there is sort of like the arc, the sort of like age-old thing in the publishing industry that they would be going up against this sort of, kind of like a custom, I guess. It's customary to have arcs. So,
Robert, do you have
this isn't so much a news item of something we have to worry about as just a everybody just calm the hell down kind of message. So let's say everybody just calm the hell down. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
And then we're done.
And can I also say that the reason why people are freaking out, if you think about it, is because Amazon is so scary. They don't tell us anything. We get these nasty notes saying, you must do some specified thing within a certain amount of time or your account will be closed. You will not be able to do anything for an entire year. None of this for you, none of that for you. We found your book out on some site. I mean, Amazon is a scary friggin' beast. And so like we feel like out of control, especially with Kindle Unlimited. You know, we're all of our eggs in that basket. A lot of us, like me, you know, so, you know, we read something and we just think, you know, we think the world is going to end because we just don't feel safe with Amazon, you know, that's it.
Mm-hmm. And actually, that's a really good segue because that's going to be the issue in a upcoming item, I believe, really quick here. Erica, what you got next?
I just wanted to add something else to that before we move on to the other issue. Is that one of the people covering this digital reader, they posited the idea that that it might be Amazon attempting to control more of the marketplace, because if the sellers aren't able to go directly to the reviewers, they have to go through Amazon. That's kind of limiting the sellers' options. It's almost like locking people in with Kindle Select in a way.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
That makes perfectly good sense because whoever holds the list has the money. That's why they encourage the readers to follow you through Amazon instead of going to your mailing list. That is the reason why they have Kindle Unlimited, like you said. What they're trying to do in the end, because they're Walmart, because they're in it for the dollars, because their bread and butter is selling things to people. They're going to wow, with the English today, they're going to try to control as much of the market as they possibly can by controlling of communication. And a lot of what Amazon does is black box. From their servers, from AWS to KDP to their selling. A lot of what they do is black box, and Audible as well. And you don't know what's going on. So they give us just enough to give us the illusion of control, but they absolutely do not give us control.
And it's interesting here too, because in a way, the reviewing rules that have been now rolled out across all of Amazon, that was already something we were encountering as authors, something that happened several months ago, all those lockdowns on the reviews and the paid reviews. It just goes to show that sometimes that Amazon started out with books and spread out, but they still seem to be leading testing the waters with their book part of the organization.
Yeah.
Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Let's
do. Thought. So those of us in Kindle Unlimited, if you haven't checked your pages read for September, you might want to do that after you've heard us talk about this item. So a number of authors in Kindle Select have noticed and reported significant decreases to their page reads on ebooks that were published or have had their metadata altered since the 5th of September. Some of them have seen 0 pages read, while others have seen a decrease of anywhere between 50 to 95% of the typical page reads. For a while, Amazon's customer services were saying page reads were accurate and were reported exactly how they were seeing them. However, they've recently posted on the KDP community, acknowledging that they've received complaints and they're investigating it, and that they've recovered one timing-based reporting issue affecting less than 0.2% of pages read, which they fixed on the 28th of September. Who would like to weigh in first? Probably someone in KU.
Well, I'm in KU, and I got some issues with this. When they say they fixed it, did they fix it retroactively?
Ooh.
And are they doing I think there was some mention of a September audit. Will we find out about the details of the outcome of that audit, or will we get individual emails to those affected, or to everyone who thought they might be affected? There's a bunch of issues around this that really kind of annoy me. And I wasn't too annoyed by it, although I do suspect I've been affected. But I was really annoyed by it when I heard somebody who shall remain nameless. I'm not into pointing fingers, but the more I talk, the more somebody will be figuring it out real quick. Somebody said, well, that's first off, the author who brought this to Amazon's attention, everyone's attention in the first place? I forget the name of the author. There was one particular person who kind of led the charge on this.
I know that Becca Fanning has been mentioned. I'm not
I think
sure
that's
if
the
she
one.
was the one, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the one I heard about. And the person who was kind of speaking to her was saying basically, on the one hand, you don't know because Amazon is a black box on the one hand, and on the other hand, since you don't know because Amazon doesn't share those numbers, then he said that's a weak argument. And then he went on to say, I thought quite condescendingly, don't worry your little brain about it. Amazon will figure it out. And really, what you need to do is focus on writing.
Wow.
And I found that incredibly condescending, and I had to shut off my iPod. I was just so angry about that, because I got to tell you, we're constantly told that we have to run our businesses like businesses, and people who are in business don't let a record-keeping error just slide, so you lose out on money. You don't know how much you've lost. You pursue it because you're in business. The author writes, the publisher chases it down. So I was just really irritated by that.
For some people, it is a lot of money. I mean, we're talking, I've seen in forums one person saying that they get 5 figures a month just from KU, and this is affecting them huge. Some people are like, shit, man, if this keeps going, I'm going to have to get a real job, you know?
Yeah, and it's not just about us as, authors. The crazy thing is, the more money you make, the more you can actually, kind of go, oh, we'll let this slide because I make 5 figures a month. If you don't make much and this happens, then, to some, it won't be a whole lot of money. To you, it's a difference between rent or not this month. So the other larger issue is we have to know that we can trust these platforms' accounting. And we can, and when we cannot, when we get these hints and wonderments and worries that we can't trust their accounting, then they're in trouble, because they will have a lot of people leaving their programs. So they've got to get on top of this, and they've got to nail this down. It was especially frustrating to hear people say, oh, don't worry about it, when we had conflicting responses from Amazon support saying, oh, it's not a problem. Oh, well, look into it. And then in some cases, I don't know how they would know this. They had the impression that support was saying, I will look into it, and then they didn't. So that was what was reported. I have no idea how these people are tracking this stuff, because Amazon is a black box, but Amazon has to do something that's going to reassure us. And they've got to get on it pretty quick, because this is something that the community does take very seriously.
And not only this, but this is the second major time in the last 2 or 3 months that's given us indication that Amazon really doesn't know how to count pages.
Well, I just saw
going back to whether or not going back to when we were talking about if we can trust them or not. Go ahead, Robert.
I just saw today. Did you see this in the passive voice? The issue may be the page flip, that it's you can read an entire book in page flip, and it only counts as 1 page. And I was thinking, I did see something where it only counted 1 page. Oh no.
Yes.
So an update might have screwed us over.
Yes, an update might have screwed us over. And even before that, when those hackers were doing the little link that jumps, and then it was counting as all the pages read, they really don't have a way of understanding whether or not a page is being read or not. They don't. And this is just another indication with bad software and then now bad accounting that's telling us that this page reading technology is not the solution they thought it would be.
Doesn't sound like there is page reading technology.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
The thing is that Amazon has a lot of power. They got a lot of money and they got a lot of brilliant people. But what's particularly insulting is it doesn't seem like we're getting the benefit of that. You know, it's like we made KDP Select. You know, you're making money. You know, shut up. You know, it's only 0.02%, which is what they're saying. It's not what, you know, some of the people in that little post over on Kboards were saying, where they go from 30,000 page reads to like 5,000 or nothing in some, I think one of them. But I also want to say one thing, that the other side of this, okay, so like people aren't getting money, right? But there's another side of this, is visibility. Are people getting sales rank? That's the other side of this. So I know I pay good money for sales rank with Amazon ads, and I get it from page reads. And if the page reads aren't going up, you know, how can I trust that that I'm getting the ranking that I deserve? So there's another thing that you could say, that Amazon has like a legal responsibility to reward me with, you know, if I bought an ad and somebody clicked it and they read it, if I'm not getting the visibility that I hoped for, you know, I think that could be kind of actionable. You know, if somebody more articulate than me could word it better. You know?
This is a low pressure situation, man. Although, you know, you make a good point about how, you know, Amazon, we give Amazon a lot of credit as far as, they're, you know, they've got geniuses working on it. But you know who else has geniuses? Apple. Apple has geniuses, and you know what?
It's a job title, even.
It's a job title, and every time they do an update, they piss me off with something. You know, it's just there is definitely an issue here that they need to address, and they have to give us some transparency. So, you know, it seems that with the page flip, they might have identified the problem. What I want to know is, A, was I affected? Yes or no? And B, am I going to be reimbursed retroactively? What's happening with that? And we're not getting that right now.
Well, going back to Kboards, some people reported that they received emails from Amazon that their page reads were inaccurate and that they were being credited for those that were missing. So we
Fantastic.
know some people are fine, well, at least better off than they were, but we don't know about everyone else yet, because I guess they have to first not only fix the problem, which they've said they've done, and I don't think anyone else has reported anything after October being weird, but I could be wrong there. There are a lot of forums on the internet. So once that's now fixed, they have to go back and identify all of those people that are affected. And because Amazon's so huge and there's so many authors, there's going to be a lot of people and books that they've got to get through for that. What else was said? Page flips, yes, I did see that someone had been testing that, so we can say that through anecdotal evidence that the page flips thing is an issue. But it's also been, we've been reminded that there was an also boughts glitch not too long ago, where people's also boughts were disappearing and they were going back to also viewed. And anecdotal evidence also suggests that there might have been an algorithm change back in July or August, because now sales ranks have been going not as they had been previously. For, you know, a rough number of sales, you might see yourself in this sales rank, because there are a lot of data collecting authors out there. So page flips, I think, is probably part of it, but I don't think it's the whole part, because like you said, some people are missing a lot of page reads, and there can't be I mean, I can't even page flip on my Kindle. I'm probably not alone. I didn't even know what page flip was, for God's sake.
Yeah, I've got an ancient Kindle. I don't know what it is either. The recently Facebook had an issue where they said, "Oh yeah, we've had this error in reporting of videos where people didn't actually didn't actually watch the videos as much as we said they did. Oh well. Are they going to go back for the last 2 years and say, here's your rebate? I don't think so. So
years, I don't think someone wanting to do that. That's a lot of interns to hire.
Well, the thing is, they've got the money to do it, and Apple has the money to and the geniuses to do things right, but they don't. And so, this is a not just an Amazon problem. I only mention these other companies as a context for, okay, people mess up, and we understand that. But what we want to have is some sense that it is being fixed and a little more communication. And also, when you call Amazon support, I also want to have a sense that everybody's being told the same thing.
Just one other thing. When a company gets as large as Amazon and what Facebook gets, and you've been building on the same technologies, the content management systems, the web interfaces, you poke one area and a mistake comes out somewhere else. I'm going to say that maybe someone did an update somewhere in the system and it had an unintended consequence of affecting our page reads.
Yeah, I never attribute to evil what can be attributed to disorganization, stupidity, and it being Monday or Friday. It's just we got to keep open to that. I'm not mad as long as they fix it.
And then they tell us what it was, how it's been fixed, and what they're going to do to get our money to us. I guess we won't really know until, what is it, usually the 15th of the month, when we get our little reports.
Well, this is the main issue most people are reporting is between September 15th and September 28th, right?
But we won't find out how much, because we get our monthly reports about the middle of the month for the previous month, right? We know how much money we're getting.
Yeah, from my understanding, from what I look at it daily, and I'm thinking that I owe Amazon a firm email.
Maybe Jeff too, but yeah. Okay, have we all finished with this one, or are we gonna squeeze a bit more out of it?
My spleen is vented. I feel so much better. Thanks to everybody. Thank you to everyone. I feel so much better.
I'm good.
Yep. Okay, so do we remember the Harlequin lawsuit? The one where Harlequin was saying, yes, sign our contract, and then they contracted through another company to contract through another company, which were all Harlequin companies, and the author ended up with not even a cent.
It was a shell game.
Wasn't it?
Yes.
It was a shell game because their the royalties for the ebook supposed to have been closer to what Amazon was giving them, and what they didn't say is that we're going to subcontract this out, and they're going to subcontract it out, and by the time everybody got paid, it was just like a little drop, like that one little pence right there.
Half of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think part of it too was that they claimed, although their base is in Toronto, and I know because I used to work for Harlequin in Toronto, and they
Go figure.
They said that their base was it Switzerland or Sweden, where the different rules applied. So the net turned out to be net. Yes.
Well, that's been sorted, and everyone has a happy ending, apparently. I mean, does anyone want to comment on that happy ending? Sounds disgusting.
I just don't know why. Well, they're the company of happy endings.
I would say that's been a very long massage to get to that happy ending.
Yes.
Why would anybody want to write for Harlequin? They had to go to court and they had to settle, and the fact that they conceived of this game at all says they're way more interested in killing the golden goose than collecting the eggs. It's such a short-sighted kind of seedy little scammy little thing. And, you know, I just can't imagine why anybody would want to work for them.
You want me to answer that question, John? Because I can answer that question. All right, then. Let's take you back to January of 2009, before the Amazon Gold Rush. Okay? Mm-hmm. If you wanted to have success in writing and you were flexible about what you wrote, you could get published much more easier if you wrote a quality 50,000 word book and presented it to Amazon. And I did very well pitching with Amazon. Sorry, not Amazon, with Harlequin. I've pitched very well with them, and I actually also got spec with them. I just kind of suck at writing romance. That's how I knew, because Amazon was just like, no. But reason why people publish with Amazon is, sorry, I keep on saying that, Harlequin, is because they bought a lot and often. Their contracts, actually, this is the first time I've actually heard of a Harlequin contract going south, right? They paid on time, paid their contracts. They were consistently very good to their authors, and people who could write regularly, consistently, 50,000 word romances made a lot of money doing it. And if you wanted to be a member of RWA, that was also the best path, because they didn't accept self-published authors until much, much later. Mm-hmm. So if you want to know why people work with Harlequin, it's because they got published through them.
No, I meant now. I meant after reading this and finding out about this. I can't imagine why anybody would go to them, because whoever did this, it was an intentionally bad thing to do. It was all about taking from authors. I mean, that's the way it read to me.
My question is why anybody wants to traditionally publish. That's me. I don't have any hate against folks who do, because some folks just don't have the mind for business. But that's a question you can apply to anybody. Why do you really want to trad pub now?
In the case of Harlequin, you're absolutely right, Krishan. It wasn't a terrible deal at the time. Mm-hmm. That time has long passed.
Yes.
There is, I think what happens is what I call cultural inertia. And cultural inertia is, I talk to my kids, I'm almost 52, and my kids are studying the same stuff that I did when I was their age in high school. We're still looking at the same Shakespeare plays. We're still looking at To Kill a Mockingbird. Not that there's anything wrong with all those great classics, but when does the new stuff get added in? It seems like English departments in particular have a whole lot of stasis going on. And I suspect it's that the people in charge are of an age where they were told when they went to university, this is the good stuff, and they haven't read a whole lot since. So as far as Harlequin goes, how this applies to them, I remember going to a writers' conference not that many years ago where somebody was talking about the joys of Harlequin. And because I once worked at Harlequin, I had a kind of a insider's different viewpoint as far as what the advantages and disadvantages might be. And this person at this writers conference was saying, oh, there is only one way, and that is you must go with Harlequin. And that was a 23-year-old saying that. It wasn't somebody who was 58. So that's cultural inertia. It just and
that's especially also being young.
Well, and there's also if you only read industry magazines. So, for instance, if you read Writer's Digest, all the ads are still from publishers and services that service that. So they're still oriented toward publishing, traditional publishing, not indie publishing. And so if that is your diet, you think you're educating yourself, but you've only got, it's actually a mono diet. You're only eating potatoes and nothing else.
You need some carrots in there and maybe a bit of steak.
Yeah.
And some sour cream and some butter, maybe some salt.
Okay, I think we're trying to make each other hungry now.
Well, I made pizza for lunch, and I'm looking forward to curry for dinner. So I can wait.
I have Terry Black's barbecue waiting for me at home. I need to drive an hour so I can get my barbecue.
Is that a cue for should we get to the next item? Or...
I think we better before we break into a salivatory frenzy.
Fair enough. So this is another news item that we've already visited with Zoe York. So Allorras Cave, not quite similar issues as Harlequin, but they're actually closing. Wow. Unlike Samhain. Well, Samhain was the one that closed and then opened, then we don't know what's going on there. But anyway, with Allorras Cave, they've said that the emails out to their authors saying that they will revert their rights. However, that there is a catch. They want the authors to first agree to 6 things before they will give them their rights. And one of the 6 things is that the author agrees to waive their outstanding royalties owed to them. And also, I've heard, I'm not sure if this is true, someone will have to confirm it with me because I'm not familiar with American bankruptcy, but there's also the possibility that if Allorras Cave files for bankruptcy within 5 months, those royalties might be sold off and go to the new company or person, even if they've been reverted to the author. And that is something one author reported had happened to them with another small publishing company. The exact same thing had happened to them there, and she was warning others in this instance just to be wary of that.
Is the legal term for that having your cake and eating it too?
Yes.
Hang on. Cake is a legal term? Wait.
Well,
I like that legal term.
Well, I think you meant that the rights will go to the next company, not the royalties. I saw that too.
Sorry. Yeah, I had the wrong word in there.
Oh, okay.
Because the rights are part of the valuation.
Mm-hmm.
But it's their property. So, like, if they go bankrupt, it's like anybody who's sitting there hoping for something from a company that went bankrupt. It's not up to you anymore. Those assets will go to whoever, purchases them in an auction or something, So I guess you want to get that deal done quick, the rights reverted quick, so that they no longer have them, so that if they do declare bankruptcy, it doesn't pass on,
Mm-hmm. But I mean, I didn't read. I'm not one of the authors, and I didn't read what the other 5 things they wanted the authors to agree to first were. But people who have received this email, they're all like, oh, they're a bit torn. They really want their rights back, but they're kind of like, I never saw a dime from them. But I think most of those authors will probably sign that form and get their rights back
to end it.
Yeah, because if you're not, if you haven't gotten your money after all this time, you're probably not going to, right?
Right. And then they say, well, you give you your rights if you waive your right to royalties. Just like you sitting up there stealing my car and saying, well, I'll give you the keys back if you don't press charges. No, Peaches, you're going to give me my keys and my car, and then we'll talk about the rest later. This is...
I like the way you think.
It's a counteroffer. That's what it is.
It's not a counteroffer if what you have doesn't belong to you in the first place.
Well, no, because they don't. Nobody has those rights. I mean, the authors would never hope to get those rights. It was like, hey, but we'll give you the rights if you this money we owe you, were to go and waive it. And if you say no, then of course you deserve and you will get your royalties. Except that they're probably going to go into bankruptcy, in which case
you won't see anything.
You won't see anything, and you lost your chance at getting your rights. I don't know. It's a really horrible situation, and I hope that I haven't stepped on any toes out there. People who really care about it.
But then it also goes back to what Robert said earlier about Amazon being a black box. Publishers are really good at being black boxes. No author really knows what their royalties really should be, how many sales they actually are making. There's a lot of stories out there where an author's actually gone out and bought their own books, and then their publishers said, no sales this month. And they're kind of looking at the book they bought, going, really? So I think the same things here. They could say, well, you might have royalties owing, but you don't know that, and you don't know how much, because I've got the ledger over here, and you're not going to see it. So, I mean, yeah, they really hold all the cards here still, even though they are closing.
All right, then I have found the 6 conditions.
Woohoo!
Would you like to read? The first one is that you understand and agree that you will receive your reversion letter on or before December 31st, 2016 via email. And for those moving their titles, the reversion letter is all the proof you need to prove that you actually own it. And even if you don't want to go to the New York route, which is having the revision letter notarized, I highly suggest you keep your revision letter accessible. Self-publishing is still in its infancy, so it's difficult to guess what will be considered standard proof to vendors in the near or distant future. 2, you understand and agree all vendors will be given notice that your books are be removed from their sites by midnight of December 31st, 2016. You understand and agree that you are free to republish your books beginning January 1st, 2017 at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You understand and agree to waive any claims to outstanding royalty monies owed. You understand and agree you are permitted to keep the cover art to your books if you choose to, but you are solely responsible for stripping the Allorras Cave name and logo from the artwork before uploading it to retailers. You understand and agree that ISBNs are publisher specific and therefore cannot and will not be transferred to you, which is another little sticky wicket. That's me, not them. You currently don't need an ISBN to self-publish through Amazon, and New York houses provide their own ISBNs. So that means that they are also will not, if they were sold through stores, they probably will have to reapply or go through Ingram Spark to get them back in the stores, because their ISBNs are no longer going to be working if they sign this.
Could I ask a couple of quick questions while it's still fresh in my mind? Stripping out the logo, are they sending PSDs then, so you have all the photo files so you can strip out the PSDs? Because otherwise, if you're sent a JPEG or PDF, whatever, you're kind of stuck with that.
Yes, there is no indication of that. Right? Alpha tool. But no, there's no indication of that any which way in the document that I'm reading, which is a scan of the actual email.
Okay, because I'm just saying that
sent to Virginia Nelson.
If you black it out with a black marker, it's not going to look very good. The other question is, you read something there, Krishan, about self-publishing being in its infancy. What was that line?
Yeah, that was weird.
This was about your reversion letter showing that you have proof. This is proof of whether or not you own the rights to publish this. All right. And for those who want to move their titles to New York, which is another publishing house, the reversion letter is all the proof you need that your rights are indeed exclusively yours again. Even if you don't plan to go the New York route, I highly suggest you keep your revision letter accessible, right? Just keep it around. Self-publishing is still in its infancy, so it's difficult to guess what will be considered standard proof to vendors in the near or distant future.
Okay.
Which is valid, but considering the fact that there are folks who pirate now and just take the name and put on a new face and throw it up there, I would say it probably isn't an issue for those who are legit.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it would be much of an issue. It just, the wording of that just kind of threw me.
The whole infancy thing, considering it's been going on for how many years yet?
Well,
now?
that was my thought. I kind of see where they are going with that, so I'm gonna leave it alone, and I've already had my rant for the night, so I'm going to leave that off.
Yeah, it sounded kind of condescending from those who are trying to swindle money out and still trying to turn that screw while they're doing the death knell. It just had a touch of condescension in it. I understand what they were doing, but it's still just a little taste of salt. Just taste a little salty there.
Well, some of the covers are pretty good too. So I'm sure, just like any publishing houses, they have the variety of styles and whatever. But I could just see some of the authors probably would want to use the covers. But you're right; they need to know if there's PSD files or pings that they're getting. Otherwise, they're going to have to, cut, paste.
That's funny.
Yeah. But others will probably want to, go and get the covers done themselves. But just probably a word of caution, because remember when Samhain did the same thing and authors jumped the gun a little bit and they were told that their rights would be coming back, although it hadn't been officially said that they would. And some writers went out and commissioned cover artists and spent a whole lot of money on getting everything ready for self-publishing, only for Samhain to say, no, we're not reverting, we're not closing, our bad. And those few authors were a bit out of pocket. I'm just wondering if maybe the same caution might want to happen here as well, because Allorras Cave has a bit of a tumultuous reputation. Anything's possible, basically.
Right. I would say that is the best course of action, considering the fact that we are talking about folks who haven't paid folks in 6-7 years. That said,
sorry,
they're also
years.
Years. They haven't paid folks in years, like years.
Wow.
Like
according to authors.
This is a story and situation that I have been hearing about ever since I restarted writing Alizar. I am 44 years old. I started this when I had just about to turn 40. And I've been hearing about folks not getting paid from these people all that time. All right. So maybe you want to use some caution. 1, 2, this is a little different from the other story, because the other story, they just announced that, hey, everybody's going to get their rights back. This one, they actually want folks to sign things.
So it's a little
Once again, what I'm looking at is the actual scan of the agreement where they're asking you to sign, and they ask you to date, and they're asking you to notarize, and they're asking you to send back. So, if anything, I would see that as a way that they can say, well, they signed away the royalties by Too Bad So Sad.
So, I'm assuming that I haven't heard anything about whether how authors are responding to this ultimatum. It sounds like they don't have a whole lot of time to get their lawyers involved before this company closes by the end of the year. If that's what is how they're going to approach this, they don't have a whole lot of time.
They have until December 31st.
I would recommend that they do get a lawyer to look over it, because who's to say that the wording might not be in a way that you sign it, you give up your claim on outstanding royalties, and then somewhere along the line, maybe they don't get their rights back, the company goes into bankruptcy. Oh, look, this creditor here has waived their outstanding fee. We don't have to pay them. We can pay the other creditors or whatever who haven't waived their fee, and now someone else owns your rights. I mean, I'm not saying it will happen. I'm just wondering how it's legally worded.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be awfully weird to be in a position where you're giving something up but you don't know what?
Oh, that's gotta suck. What do they do with the money, and why isn't this a criminal investigation of fraud and Bernie Madoff kind of situation, where we have all these royalties that we owe you, and we're just flying around the world drinking margaritas,
because you haven't been following it. Folks have been chasing these folks with lawyers for years.
Also,
They've been chasing.
Also, that email that they've sent them and asking them to waive any outstanding royalties, that's almost like them admitting that there are outstanding royalties. Have they even admitted that previously? I mean,
didn't they have a ruling against them for a certain amount of money? And that's when they announced it was filing bankruptcy? There
was a lot of court battles and threatening of suing that I'm not sure what it was.
Yeah, but see, all this is civil talk. This isn't criminal sounding. Was there ever a criminal investigation?
I don't know.
Or is it always civil? Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not familiar with the American system.
Me either. No. Nobody's familiar with it.
From what I understand, I don't think anything criminally has been done. I know a lot has been threatened, but I don't know if much has been done criminally. But
all I can say is that I hope authors who are involved in this get a lawyer or an intellectual property professional or something like that to look over before they decide to sign it. And if they do decide to sign it, there are so many authors' books and series that are going to continue that I'm looking forward to. Okay, so I'm psyched about that. I mean, Mina Carter's books for one. I want to see more of her Cyborg series. Go, Mina! Any final thoughts on that? I think it's about time we should wrap it up. Yes? No? Maybe? Yeah, I get a nod and a shake, and I don't know what's going on.
Sorry.
I was just being agreeable.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're Canadian.
Sorry.
That's how they survive.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much to our special guest, John L. Monk, for joining us. Thank you.
Oh, I'm happy to be here.
So. Yep, and where can people, obviously, where can people find you on the internet, John?
Well,
you don't know.
Google.
You can answer that two ways. where I go on the internet, or where they can find me.
The readers can go.
John-L-Monk.com, or just search for me on Facebook.
I think you've run out of pep there, John. That's okay. Good thing to finish out. Yeah. Thank you to Robert Chashute for joining us. We haven't seen you in a wee while, Robert, and we've missed you.
Thank you very much. I have been ill. Hey, I'm coming out with a new book soon, and I'm just playing around with a few ideas for a cover. So if you guys want to go over to Robert Chashute, my Facebook author page, and I've got a couple of versions of the same cover up. Take a look and tell me which one makes you tingly in your tingly bits.
Is it meant to make you tingly in your tingly bits, though? I
Not the same way
you were writing erotica.
No, it's I'm when I talk about tingly bits, I mean the tips of your fingers that reach into your wallet to pull out money to go, I have to have that book, as opposed to the other tingly stuff that is coming soon.
Can I just say? Can I just say not many of us put our fingers into our pocket to pull out money. Just like books, money is digital now.
Don't be pedantic.
Sorry. Okay, and thank you, of course, to Krishawn Callahan for joining me as well. Thank you, Krishawn.
Always fun, and just so you know, I pull my dollars. I don't know. Can you see that?
What?
I pull my dollars
out here. Away.
Shut up, Erica. Let her talk.
Talk. You wanted to talk. I think you want another example.
My camera was kind of high. Sorry, sweeties. The Coursers, the second book in the Coursers series, instruction manual, is coming out October October 25th, and it's going to be really, really fun. I'm looking forward to that. And my world building project is coming along, and you'll hear all about that at facebook.com/ALLAZAR universe. And at Instagram, when I'm posting up a bunch of pictures of me wearing shoes at, at instagram.com/Allazar universe. And come find me. I'm there.
Wearing shoes, which is, of course, something that's not common for Krishawn, which was why it was funny.
Yes, I was wearing shoes volunteering at a Thomas the Tank Engine event because we have steam trains that goes through Texas. And I was volunteering from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And 10 of those 12 hours I wore shoes. And that's the longest I've wore shoes in one stretch in better than 2 decades.
I don't even wear shoes that long in a day.
They are foot prisons. Foot prisons. Free the piggies.
Yes, they are.
Free the piggies.
Yes.
I'm wearing slippers. Okay, and for SPRT related things, our website is selfpublishingroundtable.com. We have the Halloweeny multi-author cross promo going on, so if you have anything that's Halloween themed, supernatural, paranormal, horror, and it can include romance as long as they meet the other genre criterias, we will be very happy to have you. There is a little banner on the website. The romance one went phenomenally. It was batshit crazy, and that was awesome. Hang on, I'm trying to work out what the pun was. I'm not
batshit crazy for Halloween.
Oh, okay. No, that was reference to the romance one, but yeah. And next week's guest for our usual interviews, weekly interviews, is Lindsay Barocca. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, it
Yes,
is. So thank you once again to our live watchers and listeners, and also to our not live watchers and listeners. You are all awesome. See you next week. And Robert, what do we say there to the internets?
Good night, internets. Good night.